back to Trends and Friends, everyone. Betsy with the Master Gardeners is joining us. We're talking all things gardening. The weather's finally been great. It's been kind of a good time to be outside. So tell us kind of a little bit about Master Gardeners and what y'all do.
Well, it's so wonderful to be here. Thanks for having me this morning. Lubbock Master Gardeners is a volunteer organization, and the members have some special training, extensive training actually, on some of the best ways to do gardening, particularly here.
If you're like me, I can't really garden. I do not have a green thumb. What are some tips for maybe some beginners that are wanting to learn, especially maybe in right now, what should people kind of be an easy one to start with and plant during the springtime?
Well, it's actually probably pretty chilly out. We still may have a few nights that are pretty cold, but this is when everything looks so exciting and we get so eager to just go and put plants in. And so we're actually going to have a conference in a couple weeks or in about a week, that will help people know how to be more successful with gardening.
Yes, that's on the 20th. How do people sign up for this, and is it free?
It is free. It's going to be on Saturday the 20th. People will send an email to lmgaworkshops@gmail.com, and they just say that they would like to have the Zoom link.
That's awesome. I love that people can kind of do it from the comfort of their home. What is that time that they will be doing that on Saturday?
It starts at 9 o'clock on Saturday morning, and there are actually going to be 5 different workshops during the day. The first workshop right at 9 is going to be an overview of 10 successful steps for vegetable gardening. And so it'll be a big overview of the whole thing. And then the later workshops, the other 4, will be much more detailed. Like the second workshop at 10:30 will be, what exactly should we plant? And that's kind of the question that you were asking, Kelsey. So rather than just, grab those wonderful looking plants that we see in garden stores and nurseries and, the pretty packets, which actually are the ones that will grow in our soil and with our heat and with our water conditions. And that we're going to go into that at the 10:30 workshop. And then we'll have another one right after lunch to talk about when do we plant it? Because some plants we can plant right now. Others we need to wait until after we have the last frost date. So later in April, the hot weather plants need to come a little bit later. And we'll talk about those right after lunch, about when it is. And we also need to know, do you plant the seeds or is it better to get the seedlings? So we'll talk about that. And then we'll have another workshop at 2 o'clock. How do we take care of those plants? You get them in the ground. How often do you have to water them? Is there special tricks for putting them in? What happens, if you just throw them all in the ground? No, there's some other special tricks that will help with that. And then in our very last segment, we're going to visit some community gardens where people can go and look at things, and also share some tips from Lubbock Master Gardeners that have been successful for them in their home gardens.
That sounds great. Definitely a lot to go into this. So it sounds like it's going to be a good time on the 20th. So thank you so much for being here.
It's so good to talk to you. Thanks for having me.
Of course, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.